This is what I learned from my transplanting experience. I learned that the attention required in transplanting so that not even a root fiber is crowded or misplaced is so important. First, you must transfer the plant from the seedling tray to the soil bed. In this step, you must be very careful not to cut out any roots because if it is cut, the plant is going to die. Roots are essential to keeping plants alive. This is where they get their nutrients from the soil. If the roots are cut off, there is no chance of survival for a plant. In our lives, when we experience change, trials, and hardships, it's important to remember that we must stay connected to the main root, which is Jesus. Because, like plants, if our connection to Jesus is cut off, our spiritual life will die. The next step in transplanting is placing it into the hole and then filling the hole halfway with soil. You must be careful not to choke the plant with too much soil. Transplanting helps the plant grow more by moving it into a bigger space to cultivate itself. Sometimes God allows circumstances to come our way for us to start a new life in Him. We live in a very sinful world, but God calls us to be apart from the world. And when we are convicted by the Holy Spirit of our sinful situation, God is so willing to transplant us from a sinful old life to a new life in Him. In this journey with God, it's important to take one day at a time. This process takes a lifetime, and even in heaven, we will continue to grow. We must be careful not to choke ourselves with the burden of putting our own growth in our own hands. We forget that true growth can only be experienced if we put ourselves in God's hands. In conclusion, I learned from transplanting that change, trials, and hardships in life have a purpose. Transplants need to cling to the new soil for them to grow fully and withstand the storms they will face. It's the same for us. We must cling to the good soil, that is Jesus, to withstand all the changes, trials, and storms that we encounter every day. Storms are inevitable, but when we are clinging to the good soil, we can grow through them.